What if ancient people weren't just making up stories? What if they actually witnessed something? Something so overwhelming, so far beyond their understanding, that's the only word powerful enough to describe it was God. Zeus, the Greek king of gods, master of lightning and storms. For a long time, modern science reduced these phenomena to simple explanations. Thunder is just sound waves, lightning is just electrical discharge. Neat, tidy, explained. Case closed, right? But here's what it gets strange. Ball lightning, a rare atmospheric phenomena where electrical energy appears to form a floating, glowing sphere drifting through the air before silently vanishing, has puzzled researchers for centuries. Despite hundreds of documented witness reports, the exact mechanism behind it remains scientifically debated even today. Now, ancient Greek texts don't specifically describe Zeus throwing glowing orbs, but they do describe his lightning as living, moving, unpredictable, almost like a force with its own will. Whether that's poetic language or something observed, we can't say for certain, but the parallel is intriguing. Poseidon, god of the sea. The Greeks believed he could trigger earthquakes by striking his trident on the ground, and notably, they called him not just god of the sea, but earth shaker. Sounds like mythology, right? Until you learn that the significant majority of the world's earthquake originate along tectonic boundaries beneath and around the ocean floor. The same vast uncontrollable domain the Greeks attributed to Poseidon. Modern science calls it seismic activity. Ancient Greeks calls it Poseidon's range. The forces are the same, the destruction is the same, only the framework for understanding it changed. Ra, the Egyptian sun god. Every single day, Ra would sail across the sky in his solar boat, bringing light to the world. Every night, he would descend into the Duat, the Egyptian underworld, and battle the serpent Apophis, the embodiment of chaos and darkness. And every morning, without fail, he would win. Light always returned, order always survived. Now, here's what's fascinating. Astronomers have calculated that our entire solar system moves through the Milky Way galaxy at roughly 450,000 miles per hour. The sun leading the journey through space, never stopping, always traveling. And solar flares? Massive eruptions of plasma exploding from the sun's surface creates enormous writhing tendrils of energy that arc and collapse back. Long before any of this was measured or photographed, Egyptian priests described Ra's eternal journey and his nightly battle against a twisting, consuming serpent. The comparison isn't proof of anything, but it is a remarkable parallel that has led many historians to wonder what were they actually observing. Osiris, Egyptian god of death and resurrection. According to the myth, he was murdered by his brother Set, his body dismembered into 14 pieces and scattered across Egypt. His wife, Isis, searched the land, gathered every piece, and through her power, brought him back. Not fully alive, not fully dead, something in between. Death and rebirth, destruction and restoration. The Osiris cycle mirrors one of nature's most fundamental patterns that destruction and renewal are inseparable. In biology, we see this in cellular apoptosis, where individual cells die deliberately so the organism can survive and regenerate. And yes, there's a jellyfish. Teratopsis doheny that can reverse its cell back to an earlier biological state when stressed, a process researchers are still studying. Ancient Egyptians didn't know about cellular biology, but they built a theology around the idea that death is not an ending. Centuries before science began exploring regeneration, they were already asking the same question. Prometheus, the titan who defied the gods to give humanity fire, the spark of civilization, of warmth, of survival. As punishment, Zeus chained him to a mountain where an eagle came every day to eat his liver, and every night the liver grew back. Fully, completely, so the punishment could begin again the next morning. Eternal suffering, endless regeneration. The liver is one of the very few human organs capable of significant regeneration. Modern medicine confirms that up to 70% of liver tissue can be removed, and under healthy conditions, the organ can regenerate towards its original mass, a fact that forms the basis of living donor liver transplants today. The ancient Greeks did not have some medical knowledge, but the specific regenerative capacity of the liver was not formally understood in the ancient world. Yet, they chose the liver, specifically the liver, as the organ that regrows every single day, whether that's remarkable intuition, careful observation, or something else entirely, has inspired debate among historians and classicists for decades. So, What does all of this mean? Were these gods real? Were ancient people describing natural forces in the only language they had? Or were they somehow observing things that science would take centuries to formally explain? We don't know. And honestly, that's what makes these stories so enduring. Science has split the atom, decoded DNA, landed human on the moon. And yet, ancient myths continue to surface surprising parallels with what we are still discovering about the world. Not proof of the supernatural, not evidence of gods walking among us, but something perhaps more interesting. A reminder that humans have always been asking the same fundamental questions about power, about death, about what forces shape our world. Maybe that's why these stories survive thousands of years. Maybe that's why we are still telling them today.